To the groom, to the groom, to the groom, to the groom, to the bride, to the bride, from your sister.
Hey, I'm Suzanne from Behind the Curtains Media. I'm here with Dave Durango, and we're here to talk about, it's like another series of what's it like to be a New York City full-time musician. And we were just talking earlier about how we feel like you're living a life right now.
Hi, Suzanne. How are you? Yeah, it's good. It's pretty busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for my field as a bass player that focuses on theater,
Yeah.
musical theater in the city. That's a lot of what I do.
I just want to tell everybody that you play in the pit for Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm one of a couple subs
Yeah.
on bass there. Yeah.
But still, it's incredible because I remember when you first started talking about getting a few of these gigs and what it was like, and you said your hand was shaking the first time you played.
Oh, yeah.
That has to be absolutely petrifying. What is it like now?
Yeah, I've been there a little over a year, so I'm
Okay.
up to just under 80 shows.
Wow.
It takes constant maintenance.
Really?
You know, I wouldn't say that for a show like that, there's ever a comfortable point.
Okay.
You always want to go in on time and on your A game as much as possible. And particularly the parts of it that are on upright that require bowing arco
Oh, right.
to fit in with just a killer string quartet on the other side of the pit. That is something that I always try and like keep up to scratch.
Wow.
Yeah.
We also wanted to talk about what was it like when you realized, I think I can do this full time. I think I can be a bass player in New York City full time. What was the gig that made it like, okay, I can do this now?
Well, I think the years when in 2020, obviously, there was like a huge reset where everybody on all levels of being creative everywhere, but particularly New York City, just like stopped suddenly.
Yeah.
A lot of people left town. As things returned, there was more space for people that came back or stayed to sort of get opportunities to be like, well, there's less bass players in town,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely shortly after that, I had been and still play in a lot of different projects, a lot of cabarets, stuff at 54 Below and Green Room 42, serving a lot of one-off gigs for singers and producers. So that's like was a lot of the bread and butter. Obviously, it took a couple years of doing that and having a name out there via networking. I got the opportunity to learn the book for Hamilton, which was my first show. But it took a long time. And, you know, when there was no live music, I had to think of other ways to survive. We all had to reassess then.
Right.
So it's ongoing. Like I have a lot of work. It feels like I'm in demand now, which is awesome. And it came after many years of that not being the case.
So this is one of those cases where you can say it took 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Right?
accurate. Yeah. And a lot of investment in meeting people, knowing people, studying, whether you go to school or not. You know, at the end of the day, it's not important what credentials you have. It's important that you meet people and work well.
Right.
And be part of the team.
That you're part of it.
The other thing that I'd love to add is that when I was starting out, I think more and more musicians come to New York to be theater musicians.
Okay.
And a lot of the more seasoned mentors and players around town, when they were coming up in like from the 80s on, I suppose, you know, theater was sort of not the gig that you wanted.
Okay.
You could go into studios and record jingles.
Right.
There was a lot more live venues, you know, it was more of a nightly thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely diminished over the past couple of years. But they said that the only reason that they got into cool theater gigs like In the Heights or Once on This Island, you know, some of my mentors were originating bass players for that.
Wow.
The advice that they gave me was play in all sorts of different bands, learn how to play hip hop and salsa and rock and punk and funk and everything.
Okay.
So that when you get to the theater level, when a particular piece is changing from genre to genre really quick, like many of them do, you'll sound legitimate as a well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Instead of just somebody that is a theater head from the beginning.
That is
Does that,
great
you know what
advice.
I mean?
That's amazing
Yeah.
advice.
That's some good advice I got along the
So
lines
it's about
too.
flexibility and just riding the wave.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me. This
All
is
right.
fun in the studio.
Yeah.
I love the space.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
To the groom, to the bride, from your sister, who's always by your side, to your union, and the hope that you provide, that you always satisfied. She'll be happy as his bride.